Urgently, Ripple XRP announced the date of disclosure of Hinman's documents. We'll find out soon if Hinman's documents will be made public. However, the community may be disappointed because they may not be so important and interesting. You can see the current price of XRP on your screens with a daily trading volume of $648,452,340. Used XRP has declined by 3.2 in the last 24 hours. Welcome to the Rich Club channel. Please watch this video to the end, like it, and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the release of new videos. Also in this video, we will show the lucky winner of giveaway, free 500 XRP, and maybe it will be you. So watch the video carefully until the end. Hinman's infamous documents and emails related to his speech were one of the most discussed topics in the lengthy U.S. SEC lawsuit against Ripple. After the court repeatedly ordered the SEC to hand over the documents, and this finally happened, the commission does not want to make them public. Lawyer Jeremy Hogan said that the XRP community will soon learn about the court's decision. Will the SEC court force Hinman's emails to be published? We should find out very soon. Recall that the SEC, in its consolidated petitions filed on December 22 last year, asked the court not to allow the publication of disputed documents. The regulator claims that they have nothing to do with the court's decision in the simplified procedure. In addition, the SEC repeated the claim that they are protected by attorney-client privilege and that their disclosure will affect the openness of future discussions of SEC policy. In Ripple's response yesterday, the response stated that it relied on Hinman's documents in its petitions for a summary judgment, hence arguing that they could be taken into account in a summary judgment. Although the company acknowledges that Judge Torres previously stated that they may not be related to the court, this was before the court had access to the documents and the opportunity to learn Ripple's opinion about them. In addition, Ripple claims that the documents are court documents even if they are not taken into account in the court's summary judgment, and therefore should not be sealed, except for the most compelling reasons. Ripple claims that the SEC failed to fulfill this condition in its move. In addition, the defendants note that historically courts have rejected requests for secrecy after ruling that attorney-client privilege does not protect documents. In response to questions about when the community can expect Judge Torres to make a decision on the fate of the disputed documents, Hogan noted that so far the judge has been quick to make decisions on the secrecy of petitions. The lawyer meant a time window of a week or two, depending on the priority. The judge has so far been very quick to rule on sealing petitions, I think within a week or two and at least once even faster. It should be noted that Hinman's documents relate to emails and other communications from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission related to the draft of Bill Hinman's controversial speech in 2018. The then SEC Director of Corporate Finance publicly stated that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. Since Ethereum also had an initial coin sale, Ripple's lawyers decided to understand why the SEC treats XRP differently. However, the SEC strongly resisted these efforts, arousing great public curiosity about its content. Recently, lawyer John Deaton suggested that Hinman's documents were not the irrefutable proof that the XRP community considered them, citing Ripple's rare references to them in its materials. He suggests that although the documents may speak of the SEC's malicious intent, it is now likely that XRP was not mentioned, unlike previous suspicions. However, community members are still interested in the content of these emails and believe they have the right to see them. According to Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse, support for cryptocurrency regulation in the United States is bipartisan and beyond Ripple. CEO Brad Garlinghouse shared on Twitter on January 3 that he is cautiously optimistic that the United States will achieve breakthrough regulatory clarity for the cryptocurrency industry in 2020. To mark the first day of the 118th Congress, Garlinghouse shared his hopes that 2023 will be the year when the U.S. will achieve clarity on cryptocurrency regulation, adding that support for regulation is bipartisan and bicameral. Garlinghouse said that the U.S. is not starting with a clean slate in the field of regulation, citing as examples such bills as the Securities Transparency Act, the Responsible Financial Innovation Act, the Responsible Financial Innovation Act, and the Digital Token Transparency Act and the Digital Token Transparency Act. According to the CEO of Ripple, the stakes cannot be higher. He added that no bill is perfect and probably there will never be one that will satisfy everyone, and attempts to develop a perfect bill should not slow down the progress of Congress in creating rules and legislation in the field of cryptocurrency. According to garlinghouse, the U.S. lags behind Singapore, the European Union, Brazil, and Japan when it comes to cryptocurrency legislation and regulations. He said that the lack of coordinated efforts to implement the regulatory framework, both globally and in the U.S., continues to push businesses into countries with lower regulatory standards, leading to sometimes disastrous results, such as the collapse of FACT. Patrick L. Riley, CEO of the blockchain company Reaper Financial, shared his opinion on the role of XRP in the undeclared economic rivalry between China and the United States, saying that Ripple's current lawsuit against the SEC is not just a court case, it's a war. Riley tweeted that China has been manipulating Bitcoin for years and has not set its dogs on the leading cryptocurrency, even though it has banned mining in the country. In his opinion, China really wants to prevent the adoption of XRP in the United States, as this will keep America from ruin. In this regard, he said that the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple Labs is not just a court case, it's a war. The lawsuit against Ripple was launched by the U.S. securities regulator in December 2020, and it continues to this day, as the parties to this case continue to win small victories over each other. The CEO of Ripple hopes that the case will be settled in 2020. 3. China is working on its own central bank digital currency, CBDC, digital Yuan. He worked on this for several years and redoubled his efforts when Facebook began trying to create a stablecoin backed by a basket of the most popular fiat currencies in 2019. The Facebook project was put on the back shelf, and the Chinese one has already been tested on real users and their wallets. Back in 2019, influencers like Anthony Pompliano said a lot on Twitter that the U.S. should launch the digital dollar as soon as possible. They believe that if China launched its CBDC before the U.S., China would surpass the U.S. in the emerging field of digital finance on a global scale. Then the Federal Reserve System began to explore the possibility of creating a so-called Fed coin. However, some representatives of the crypto community criticized the idea of creating a CBDC in the United States. Among them was the famous whistleblower Edward Snowden. He called CBDC a perversion and a crypto-fascist currency. Many on Twitter also shared their fears that by launching the digital yuan, the Chinese government would strengthen control over personal finances, income, and expenses of the population, and were concerned that the same could happen in the U.S. if the Fed launches the digital dollar. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you liked it, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the release of new videos.